Imagine waking up one morning to find that the US dollar is no longer the king of global finance. That nations around the world have abandoned it for a new, shiny alternative backed not by promises, but by gold. This isn't science fiction, it's a possibility that's gaining serious traction in 2025. The BRICS nations Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa are planning something that could shake the foundations of the modern financial system. A new currency. One that may be backed by gold. And if successful, it could challenge or even dethrone the US dollar's global dominance. But is this a real threat or just geopolitical theater? Today, we dive deep into BRICS gold-backed currency plans, how serious this move really is, and how it could collapse the dollar or backfire completely. Welcome to World Flow Finance, where we decode the money moves shaping your future. Let's start with the basics. BRICS stands for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Together, they represent over 40% of the world's population, more than 25% of global GDP, and roughly 30% of global energy production. But here's what really matters. BRICS is not just a club, it's becoming a counterweight to Western-dominated institutions like the IMF and the World Bank. In recent years, BRICS has expanded to include Iran, Egypt, Ethiopia, and Saudi Arabia, countries with strategic natural resources and rising economic influence. And now, they're asking, why keep using the US dollar, a currency they don't control, to trade oil, gold, or even food? The stage is set. And a new currency could be their ultimate weapon in a new financial world order. The vision: a gold-backed BRICS currency. At the heart of this movement is an audacious idea, a gold-backed BRICS currency. Gold, the ancient store of value, immune to the whims of central banks, resistant to inflation, and trusted by civilizations for thousands of years. For decades, the US dollar has been the world's reserve currency, but it's fiat, backed by nothing but faith. And that faith has been shaken, by inflation, massive debt, and geopolitical conflict. Now imagine a currency backed by real gold. The idea isn't new. Russia and China have been accumulating tons of gold over the past decade. India has increased its reserves. And many BRICS countries are among the largest gold producers in the world. So, a gold-backed BRICS currency could be more than a symbolic gesture. It could offer a real alternative to the dollar in trade settlements, reserves, and global finance. But how exactly would this work? There are a few models BRICS could pursue. 1. Centralized digital currency backed by gold. Think of a BRICS central bank issuing a digital token, where each token is redeemable for a fixed weight of gold. Backed by vaults in Russia, China, or South Africa, countries with deep gold reserves. 2. A shared settlement unit. Not a new physical currency, but a common accounting unit, similar to the IMF special drawing rights, SDR, but tied to gold and used to settle international trade. 3. Commodity basket peg. The BRICS currency could be pegged to a basket of commodities, including gold, oil, and rare earth metals, making it immune to US monetary policy. Whichever form it takes, the key is credibility. BRICS would need transparent gold audits, reliable redemption mechanisms, trust among trading partners. That's a tall order. But not impossible, especially when the motivation is this strong. Why BRICS wants to kill the dollar? To understand why BRICS is serious about a new currency, we have to look at how the dollar became dominant, and how it became dangerous for others. The dollar's rise. After World War II, the Bretton Woods system made the dollar the anchor of global finance. It was convertible to gold, and other currencies were pegged to it. In 1971, Nixon ended the gold standard. Since then, the dollar has been fiat, but it still retained dominance, especially in oil trade, the petrodollar system. The weaponization of the dollar. In recent years, the US has used its control of the dollar for geopolitical leverage. Sanctions on Russia, Iran, Venezuela. Freezing reserves of sovereign nations. Controlling SWIFT access. This made countries like Russia and China realize, using the dollar is a liability. The dollarization isn't just economic, it's survival. Add to that the US national debt nearing $40 trillion, and a string of interest rate hikes that shook emerging markets, and BRICS sees an opening. A gold-backed BRICS currency is their answer. The US dollar at risk. So, what happens if the BRICS currency succeeds? Let's look at how it could collapse the dollar, or at least weaken it severely. 1. Loss of reserve currency status. Today, over 58% of global reserves are in dollars. If countries shift to a BRICS currency, demand for U.S. treasuries could drop. That means higher interest rates and debt crises for the U.S. 2. Global trade realignment. Oil, gas, rare earths, and even food could be traded in BRICS currency, especially between China, Russia, and the Middle East. This reduces dollar velocity and liquidity. 3. Inflation surge. If foreign demand for dollars crashes, the Federal Reserve may be forced to print more to finance deficits. That leads to devaluation and rising consumer prices. 4. Investor panic. The dollar isn't just a currency, it's a symbol of trust. A credible competitor could trigger capital flight, stock market crashes, and a currency reset. This is not guaranteed, but it's a realistic scenario, especially if global confidence in U.S. fiscal policy continues to erode. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. While the idea is powerful, reality is messy. Here's what could go wrong. 1. Geopolitical rivalries. China and India have border disputes and strategic rivalries. Trust between BRICS nations isn't rock solid. 2. Currency sovereignty. None of these countries want to give up control of their own central banks or currencies. A shared currency requires compromise. 3. Gold logistics. Where is the gold stored? Who audits it? How do you redeem the currency in times of crisis? 4. Western pushback. The US, EU, and IMF will not sit idly by. They may use economic pressure, propaganda, or sanctions to discredit the BRICS initiative. 5. Credibility gap. The US dollar has over 70 years of trust behind it. Can BRICS match that quickly, especially with opaque governance and questionable transparency? It's a monumental task. But even partial success could be enough to damage the dollar's monopoly. Who wins and who loses? If this shift happens, who stands to gain, and who could lose big? Winners. Gold investors. Gold prices could skyrocket as demand rises. Emerging markets, more options, less reliance on dollar reserves. Energy exporters, new avenues to sell oil/gas without the dollar. Losers. U.S. taxpayers, higher debt servicing costs, potential inflation. Western financial institutions, loss of control over SWIFT, IMF-style influence. Dollar-dominated corporations, increased currency risk in global operations. What this means for you. So, how does this impact your life, your money, and your future? 1. Currency diversification. Don't rely solely on dollar-based assets. Look at gold, foreign ETFs, and commodities. 2. Watch the BRICS summit. Scheduled for late 2025, this could be a turning point. Announcements on digital currency or gold standards could move markets overnight. 3. Invest in stability. Assets like gold, silver, Bitcoin, and energy stocks may gain from a de-dollarization trend. 4. Understand geopolitics. Money follows power. Watch how alliances shift, how trade deals evolve, and how new infrastructure like the BRICS Bank takes shape. This isn't just economics, it's a new world order in the making. The world is changing fast. The BRICS nations are no longer just emerging economies, they're emerging power brokers. And their push for a gold-backed currency might seem ambitious today, but so did the idea of a global internet in the 90s. The dollar has reigned for a century, but empires fall, and currencies can too. Whether BRICS succeeds or fails, one thing is clear, the global financial system is entering a new era. One with more competition, more volatility, and more opportunity, for those who understand what's happening. So ask yourself, are you prepared? Thanks for watching World Flow Finance. If you found this breakdown insightful, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more deep dives into the forces that shape our money and our future.